a shrinking cap, Grandpa.
Catch me if you can.
Grandpa! No, be careful! Grandpa, stop! Grandpa in my pocket! It was a Sunday morning, and the sun was shining in Sunnysands.
Look out, Captain Dumbletwit!
Grandpa and I were reading a Captain Dumbletwit story, and Jemima said,
I think it's going to be a very dull day.
but Jemima couldn't have been more wrong. Suddenly we heard,
I wonder who that can be.
I ran and opened the door, and guess who walked in? Mr. Mentor the Inventor. Now, Mr. Mentor the Inventor lives in the lighthouse in Sunnysands. He's always coming up with really crazy inventions. Like this, the grassy buggle jumper. Only the bugs liked it even more than he did. Then there's this, the automatic haerostatic that gives you a new hairstyle every day. And this, the Huffer Puffer Pillow Fluffer. Everyone loves going to visit him in the lighthouse and trying things out. So we were all wondering what he wanted today.
Mr. Mentor, what a nice surprise. Have you come to stay?
Oh no, not at all. I'm on my way to a meeting of the most remarkable inventors of the universe.
Sounds great, Mr. Mentor, but why are you here?
I have an invention which I've almost invented, but I've had to leave it at the lighthouse. It's behaving rather badly and shouldn't be left by itself.
Really? So, what is this invention?
It plops the custard into a custard puff. It tends to plop when it shouldn't plop and not plop when it should plop. But when it works properly, I'm sure it will be fabadiculous.
Yes, this was the day we got to see Mr. Mentor's Custard Puff Plopper.
So are you saying you'd like us to look after it for you while you're at the meeting?
Oh, yes, please.
Mr. Mentor gave Dad the keys to the lighthouse. Then he picked up all his boxes and bags and went off to see the most remarkable inventors in the universe.
Can I come with you, Dad? And me?
Yes, I could do with your help.
Great! I'll just get my shoes.
Who knows, I might be able to fix the custard puff plopper. I'll bring some tools.
If Dad's going to try and fix Mr. Mentor's custard puff plopper, he's going to need my help. I'm coming too.
Not the shrinking cap, Grandpa!
Catch me if you can.
You know what happens when Grandpa shrinks. He can get in my car and make it go. He can fly on Gordon, my toy seagull. He can get into our Sunnysands train and chuff around. Or he can just run for all he's worth. At that moment, Jemima came running downstairs and Dad came in from the garden.
Come on!
Grandpa gone for a little lie down, has he? Good idea. Come on.
There was nothing I could do. Grandpa would have to find his own way to the lighthouse. So off we went in Campo, and Jemima said,
It's a pity Grandpa couldn't come with us. He's never seen Mr. Mentor's inventing room.
and Dad said,
Yes, poor Grandpa. But he'd never manage all those stairs.
but I had a feeling that Grandpa wasn't going to bother with stairs. Grandpa had got here first. I quickly hid the plane under one of Mr. Mentor's scarves. I knew Grandpa had to be hiding somewhere, but there was no time to look for him.
So which one's the custard puff, Plopper?
I think it must be this.
I think you're right, Jason.
Oh, I see. The milk, sugar and eggs are in the funnel. So custard should plop through this pipe into the puff.
Dad twiddled a knob,
I wonder why it's not working.
and this is what happened.
Careful, Dad! I think the custard's stuck in the plopping pipe.
I need to look inside. There's a screwdriver in Campo. Would you mind fetching it, Jemima?
So Jemima ran all the way to the bottom of the lighthouse to fetch Dad's screwdriver. Grandpa was trying to get to the custard puff plopper, but he couldn't with Dad right there. I needed to get him out of the way. Couldn't you do the hammer too, Dad?
I think you're right.
This was Grandpa's chance. He jumped down, ran across the floor and climbed up the table leg. But there was only one way to get inside it, by climbing up the plopping pipe. Have you worked out what's wrong yet, Grandpa? Grandpa had worked it out. Suddenly, he pushed a nut out of the plopper.
The nut wasn't screwed on properly. It's dirty. It needs a good clean.
But there was no time to clean it. Somebody was coming up the stairs. It was Great Aunt Loretta, Grandpa's sister.
Mr. Mentor's left you in charge of his inventions. Oh, I don't think so.
That's all I need.
I hope you haven't been interfering, Jason. Ooh, you have to be very careful when you... Oh!
Great Aunt Loretta had caught her boot in a hole in the floorboards.
I caught my boot in a hole in the floorboards. Oh, now then, where's this custard plop puffer Mr. Mentor was talking about?
Actually, it's a custard puff plopper.
Well, that's what I said. Get out of the way, Jason.
Grandpa was hiding behind the custard puff plopper. Any moment Great Aunt Loretta would see him.
What was that? It wasn't a mouse, was it?
I don't think so. While Great Aunt Loretta was looking for the mouse, Grandpa quickly took his chance. He leapt off the table and ran towards the hole. He was just jumping into it when...
I saw something disappearing into that hole. It must have been a mouse. Oh, it might eat one of Mr. Mentor's inventions. Or it might get into the custard plop puffer plopper.
Under the floorboards, the mouse was looking for the red plastic nut. But he wasn't having much luck.
I can't see it anywhere. Bother.
Oh, I've got it. Just the thing. This'll scare the life out of it.
A clockwork bumblebee.
Exactly.
The clockwork bumblebee didn't scare the life out of the mouse, but it did scare the life out of Grandpa. Now Great Aunt Loretta had her ear to the floor, listening.
I can hear footsteps and rustling and panting. Must be a doddery old mouse down here.
Perhaps you should just block up the hole.
No! Yes! I can use this. Come on, Jemima, you can do the stuffing for me.
This was a disaster. Now Grandpa was stuck under the floorboards with a clockwork toy and there was no way he could get out. But Grandpa, being Grandpa, had a plan.
Look, the mouse is pulling the scarf away.
Help! Help! Help!
The good news was Grandpa had managed to climb out of the hole. The better news was he'd found the red plastic nut. And the best news of all was that he'd cleaned it with Mr. Mentor's scarf.
It's only a mouse.
While Dad and Jemima were busy calming Great Aunt Loretta down, Grandpa climbed back up the plopping pipe. Just in time, too.
Please don't worry about the mouse, Loretta. Have a go with the custard puff plopper instead.
So Great Aunt Loretta started pushing buttons and pulling levers. Of course, she had no idea that Grandpa was inside.
Well, it's no good, it's not plopping.
Sorry, Loretta. I thought I'd fixed it.
Well, you hadn't.
I think we should take the custard puff plopper home. I've got loads more tools in my workshop.
Back at home, Jemima was upstairs helping Great Aunt Loretta to clean up. and Dad was looking for some more tools. Grandpa, you must come out now! But it was too late. Dad was back.
This should do it. Just tighten that. Ooh. Loosen that. Turn this. Hey!
Brilliant! Pass me a puff, Jemima.
Great Aunt Loretta hadn't just plopped Custard into her puff. She'd plopped Grandpa too.
Ah! It's wiggling! I think the mouse is in it! Ooh.
Loretta, it's okay. Come back.
While everyone was in the garden, I took Grandpa out of the puff. He was covered in custard, but it didn't stop him running into the sitting room. He whipped off his cap and came back to his normal size.
We did it, Jason. We fixed the custard puff Plopper. That's what I call teamwork.
Teamwork, Grandpa! Later, Mr. Mentor was absolutely delighted to see his custard puff Plopper working.
I'm absolutely delighted. You are a genius, Mr. Mason. You should join the most remarkable inventors in the universe.
Of course, I couldn't tell Dad or Mr. Mentor that the really remarkable inventor was Grandpa.
You've woken up, eh, Grandpa? Do you fancy a custard puff?
No thanks, Loretta.
Yum! You don't know what you're missing.
Oh, don't I?
Not the shrinking cap, Grandpa!
Catch me if you can.
Grandpa! No, be careful! Grandpa, stop! Grandpa in my pocket! This is me, Jason Mason. And this is my grandpa, with his dog, Beowulf. We live here in Sunny Sands. Here's my dad's bike shop, and this is our house. Oh, and here's my mum, doing one of her hobbies. Mum's always taking up new hobbies. 1 week it's karate, then it's salsa dancing, opera singing, and now her new hobby is growing vegetables. And more to the point, she's growing oddly shaped vegetables for the Sunny Sands Odd Vegetable Festival.
There's no room to play Captain Dumbletwit Snap in here, Jason. The vegetables are taking over.
Look at this one. Don't you just love him? I'm going to call him Christopher.
Christopher?
We couldn't believe that Mum was now giving her vegetables names.
Isn't he beautiful?
Well, I wouldn't exactly call him beautiful, but he's certainly odd.
The odder, the better. There. I'm off to my gardening club. Look after all my babies for me, won't you? I won't be long.
So off went Mum, and Grandpa and I were left in charge of a carrot called Christopher and other odd vegetables.
Well, Jason, if we're going to play Snap, we better go outside. There might be more room there.
But there wasn't more room in the garden. The vegetables had taken over here as well. Oh yes, Mum had grown every sort of vegetable you could possibly imagine.
Right. I'll deal.
We just started on our game when we heard
Cooey! It's only me!
Great Aunt Loretta, Grandpa's sister.
Ooh, I say, the vegetables are taking over. I've come to cook you some yummy supper.
What?
I'm going to invent a new recipe.
But Mum didn't say you were coming.
Well, Mum must have forgotten, mustn't she? I'm going to invent an odd vegetable stew with, wait for it, pickled onions, curry and custard.
But you can't use any of Mum's odd vegetables.
We're looking after them for her.
Don't be so silly. She can't need them all. Ooh. And this will do for starters. Ooh. Right.
She has to be stopped, Jason.
I know.
And there's only one way to do it.
Not the shooting cut, Grandpa! You know when Grandpa shrinks, he can get up to all kinds of things. He can chuff about in our Sunny Sands train. He can drive off in my car. He can get into all sorts of very small places. And often he runs so fast, you've no idea where he's gone. And I had no idea today. But there was no time to look for him. I needed to check what Great Aunt Loretta was up to. And she was up to no good.
Oh, I say.
No!
What?
Not Christopher, Great Aunt Loretta. He's Mum's favourite.
Well, I'm not surprised. Look at his little legs. Ooh, Mr. Mentor will love him.
Mr. Mentor?
Yes, Mr. Mentor, the inventor.
Now, Mr. Mentor the inventor lives in the lighthouse in Sunny Sands. He's always coming up with really crazy inventions. Like this, the grassy buggle jumper. Only the bugs liked it even more than he did. Then there's this, the automatic haerostatic that gives you a new hairstyle every day. And this, the Huffer Puffer Pillow Fluffer. Everyone loves going to visit him in the lighthouse and trying things out. And he likes trying out other people's inventions too, which was why
I've invited Mr. Mentor for supper. And I'm going to invent a new recipe.
Oh, no, she's not.
Grandpa!
We've got to make sure that the vegetables really do take over, Jason.
No! But Grandpa jumped down and ran into the kitchen. Grandpa, where are you going?
I'm going to start with the pumpkin. Where's my knife?
Grandpa shot up the leg of the table and hid behind the pumpkin.
Grandpa gone for a little lie down, has he? So lazy.
Grandpa was determined to get the pumpkin out of the way. But he wasn't planning this.
Me toe. Me
Great Aunt Loretta is always hurting her toe.
Oh.
We have a pack of peas in the freezer, especially for these moments. Maybe the pumpkin doesn't want you to cook it.
Don't be so silly. How does a pumpkin know whether it wants to be cooked or not? I'm going to pick some beans, I am.
Grandpa jumped off the table and followed her outside. The doorbell went. I ran to answer it. It was Mr. Mentor the inventor.
Jason, howdy-doody-do. Am I too early? I've been trying out this fabridiculous new watch I've invented. See?
Mr. Mentor doesn't only invent things, he invents words too.
Oh, it is fabridiculous.
I know. Shame it doesn't work. Oh, my goodness. The vegetables are taking over.
My goodness. I've never seen such odd, wiggly-looking beans before. Have you, Mr. Mentor?
Never. They are spectacularly wiggly.
I had no idea where Grandpa was or what he was planning.
They'll be perfect in an odd vegetable stew with pickled onions, curry and custard, won't they?
At that moment, I spotted Grandpa. He was making his way towards the beans. And just as Great Aunt Loretta leant forward to pick one, this happened. Grandpa was wiggling the beanstalk.
Good heavens, what's going on? The beanstalk's wiggling.
Wiggly beans on a wiggly beanstalk. How whiz-a-woodlesome.
Maybe the beans don't want to be picked, Great Aunt Loretta.
Don't be so silly.
I think it's an excellent invention. A beanstalk that won't let you pick the beans until they're ready. Not just super, but super duper.
Ridiculous.
I needed to give Grandpa time to get out of the wiggly beanstalk. So I showed Mr. Mentor some of Mum's other vegetables. And there's some of our chilies over there. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Grandpa jump, run, and make his way back into the kitchen. I needed to get back in there too, and fast.
Oh, this is such fun. What's next? I can hardly wait.
Right. I'm going to start on me carrot. Where is it?
For a second, I thought Christopher had gone missing. But suddenly,
It's alive.
I couldn't believe my eyes. I'd have to make sure that Grandpa wasn't seen.
Brilioso! It's a fantastical invention.
It's a horrid invention. It's a horrid cavorting carrot.
Maybe it just doesn't want to be cooked, Great Aunt Loretta.
Don't be so silly.
Whoever invented it, Jason?
Grandpa. Kind of.
Wonderbubble. Absolutely wonderbubble.
I knew what was going to happen. Careful, Great Aunt Loretta!
Help! Help! Save me, Mr. Mentor! Wheel me away from the carrot! Quick! Oh, wheel me away from the carrot!
I really thought it was time for Grandpa to stop. Grandpa, stop! But he was having such a great time. I could see another disaster coming. He was heading for the pond. Watch out, Mr. Mentor!
On my way!
I quickly picked up Grandpa.
Whoops. Did I get a bit carried away?
I put him in my pocket. Then I grabbed Christopher. At that moment, Mum arrived home.
I'm home. Oh, Jason, you've been looking after Christopher. How kind.
No, put me up.
Oh, no. Oh, dear. Problem?
Problem.
Oh, what are you doing? Oh.
Oh, am I glad to see you. Oh, the vegetables were taking over. The wiggly beans wouldn't stop wiggling.
I whipped Grandpa out of my pocket and put him down on the floor. He took off his shrinking cap and came back to his normal size.
Oh, that was a close one, Jason. Still, at least we stopped Loretta from cooking Mum's odd vegetables. Do you know what I call that?
Teamwork?
Teamwork.
In the end, Mum cooked a really yummy supper.
What a day for inventions, eh? That wiggly bean bush. Oh, you should have seen it.
Really?
Spectacular. And the clockwork carrot.
Oh, clockwork carrot, eh?
Truly fabridiculous. You are a great inventor, Grandpa.
Inventor? Grandpa? He doesn't do anything except lie down.
Oh, don't I?
Not the shrinking cap, Grandpa!
Catch me if you can.
Grandpa! No, be careful! Grandpa, stop! Grandpa in my pocket! It was the school holidays, and Grandpa, Jemima and I were playing a Captain Dumbletwit board game.
I get the planet Matoki.
I wanted that one! Mum and Dad were getting ready to go away for a few days.
I go.
The good news was that while they were away, Mr. Like a Biker was looking after the bike shop. And there's nothing Mr. Like a Biker likes more. The bad news was, guess who was looking after Grandpa, Jemima and me? Great Aunt Loretta, Grandpa's sister. Great Aunt Loretta is always making spinach and sprout shake, which we call green gloop.
Yum!
and all kinds of weird food that she thinks is yum.
Yum.
And she's often like this, or like this, or like this. And she makes Grandpa feel like this.
Now then. And don't you chew my slippers, you bad boy. I know what you're like.
Aunt Loretta isn't keen on Beowulf. In fact, she isn't keen on animals at all.
You sure you're going to be all right, Aunt Loretta?
Yes, I'll look after them. I'm good at looking after things.
Oh, no.
What?
I just remembered.
What?
Looking after things.
What?
I'm supposed to be looking after something today for my friend Dory.
What?
This was what Mr. Scorrbucket the Goat.
Just a scuff bucket. I wonder why it's called that.
Aw, I think he looks really cute.
Beowulf didn't think Mr. Scorrbucket looked at all cute. He ran to the house and up to my bedroom.
Here are the instructions for how to take care of him.
Yes, it's just for today. Doreen will collect him this evening.
Are you sure you'll be all right?
Yes, we'll be all right. So will Mr. Scorrbucket. Don't you worry.
So Mum and Dad went off on their holiday, and we were left in charge of Mr. Scorrbucket.
Right, Jemima, now let's see this list.
No, leave it to me.
Oh, I have a way with goats. I can talk to them. They like me.
Don't be so silly.
Aw, I think he's so sweet.
Don't touch it.
I'll get a bucket for some water.
And Jemima went off to the garage in search of a bucket.
You never can tell with goats. I was once butted in the bottom by one. Oh, you think that's funny, do you? Get inside, the pair of you. Leave this to me.
So I followed Grandpa inside. But I didn't think for 1 second he would leave Mr. Scorrbucket to Great Aunt Loretta.
Now, don't do anything bad, you. Ugh. I'm going to do the washing, I am.
Well, Jason, if she won't let us help her, and she's sent us indoors, there's only one thing for it.
Not a shrinking cap, Grandpa.
Catch me if you can.
You know when Grandpa shrinks, all kinds of magical things happen. He can get into my car and make it go. He can chuff around in my Sunny Sands train. And he can even fly off in my plane. And that's what he did today.
Stop that plane, Jason. Stop it.
Great Aunt Loretta thinks my plane is radio controlled and that I'm making it go.
Oh, go and get the peg bag, you annoying boy.
At that moment, Grandpa landed my plane right next to Mr. Scorrbucket.
Don't worry, Mr. Scorrbucket. We won't let her be nasty to you. Just do as I say, and everything will be fine.
And Grandpa hid just as Jemima came back with the bucket.
Jason, your plane. Mr. Scorrbucket could have trampled all over that.
Thanks.
Grandpa gone for a little lie down, has he? Oh, typical. Leaves me to do everything.
I'll look after Mr. Scorrbucket.
Me too!
Oh, no, you can't. He is dangerous. And I'm in charge. What would your mother say if I let you get nibbled by a goat?
So off went Great Aunt Loretta with the bucket.
Now, just you drink that and try and behave yourself. You kicked it, didn't you? You kicked the bucket. You should be called Mr. Kick Bucket, you should. He kicked the bucket. He's a bad goat. I knew it.
I'm not sure that was such a good idea. You'll only make her worse.
A little later, we all helped Great Aunt Loretta to hang out the washing. Suddenly, I saw Grandpa. He climbed a tree to get a better view. Grandpa was laughing at Great Aunt Loretta's washing. And I didn't blame him because it looked like this.
We'll go and get Mr. Scorrbucket's food ready.
Oh, you will you?
Aunt Loretta insisted that she should give Mr. Scorrbucket his food. So Jemima and I stood watching her. She once got butted in the bottom by a goat.
There. Now, don't spill it. Eat it nicely. Yum!
But Mr. Scorrbucket didn't think the food was yum. He kicked the bucket over. At that moment, I saw Grandpa jump out of the tree.
Oh! Me ankle!
Then Grandpa climbed onto Mr. Scorrbucket's back.
Well, that wasn't very sensible, if you don't mind me saying. No, stay here.
But
No,
Mr. Scorrbucket had a plan.
He did it! He butted me in the bottom! Oh.
Now, that really hasn't helped, has it?
Oh! Get the peas, Jason! That's it!
So I went to the freezer to get the peas that we keep especially for these moments. Usually, Great Aunt Loretta hurts her toe, and we put the peas on that. This time, it was her bottom. Meanwhile, Mr. Scorrbucket was eating Great Aunt Loretta's pants.
He's eating me pants!
And at that moment, Mr. Scorrbucket pulled the washing line down.
Run! Upstairs! Upstairs! Come on!
And Grandpa came running in. I was hoping he had another plan, because we were desperate now.
We need help, Jason. We need someone strong and brave and... I know. Write me a note, quick.
So I grabbed a pencil, and Grandpa told me what to write.
Calm down, Great Aunt Loretta. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Fine? How can it be fine? He's knocked me over. He's eaten me pants. What's he going to do next?
He's running around the sitting room.
You see? He'll eat everything. And then he'll make a terrible mess. And then he'll probably go to the...
Great Aunt Loretta doesn't say the word toilet out loud because she thinks it's rude. I looked out of my bedroom window and saw Grandpa flying off in my plane. He'd gone for help.
Oh, I like a bottle with a slurpy, nozzly type thing.
Mr. Like a Biker was having a great time sorting things out.
Need more bottles?
And at that moment, who should fly in but Grandpa? As Grandpa flew over the counter, he dropped my note. Then, as quickly as he came, he was gone.
Hello, what's this? It's a note. Oh, it's from Jason. I missed him. Please come to the Mason house at once. Mr. Scorrbucket has eaten Great Aunt Loretta's pants. Oh no. I hope she wasn't wearing them at the time. Right, I must go. Yes, right. Here we go!
Soon, Grandpa was back home. I'll be right back. Mr. Scorrbucket had eaten a pile of newspapers and was halfway through Great Aunt Loretta's slipper. I ran outside to find Grandpa. Cap off, Grandpa, quick!
Don't worry, Jason. Help is on the way.
Never fear! Like a biker's here!
That way!
Oh, right.
We did it, Jason. Mr. Like a Biker will sort out Mr. Scorrbucket in no time.
Teamwork!
Teamwork!
Mr. Like a Biker led Mr. Scorrbucket out into the garden.
Come on, Philip.
Philip?
Yeah, it's his first name. Philip Scorrbucket. If you use their first names, they're always a lot more friendly.
So Philip Scorrbucket waited patiently to be collected, and we all tidied up inside. Later, everything was back to normal.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Like a Biker. I don't know what we'd have done without you.
Oh, it was a pleasure. I'm quite keen on goats.
Yeah, that's what Grandpa said. Oh, fat lot of help he was. He just went for a little lie down.
You wouldn't let me help. If you'd let me help, Mr. Scorrbucket wouldn't have eaten your slipper. or your pants. Yum!